You're an international student and you've just moved to Australia, you're feeling a little bit lonely, or maybe you're an international student about to go to Australia and you're nervous about being isolated, being lonely. This is the video for you. I'm going to walk through how to feel less lonely, less isolated. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button right this minute. Now, for a little bit of background story, a bit of context, I really wanted to make this video because when I first moved to India, I pretty much had almost no friends and I felt super lonely, super isolated, and I had one day in particular, a Sunday, where the office space was closed, everything was closed, and I had absolutely nothing to do and no one to see, and I broke down in tears. And so I know what it feels like to feel lonely. I know what it feels like to feel isolated in a country away from home, in a city that's not yours. And I've learned some tricks along the way to actually manage that and deal with it and turn it into a positive into your life. And so I wanted to make this video for you guys. If you resonated with anything I just said, this could be a little video for you to help you out. Now, if you're feeling like this in any way, or if you're worried about feeling like this in the future, the first thing you need to know and to accept is that it is completely normal. It is normal to feel like this. If you move away from home, of course you're gonna feel lonely. Of course you're gonna feel isolated. Even if you know people in that city, you're still away from home. You're still away from probably most of your family and your friends. Even if you know people, of course you are going to feel lonely, especially at the start. And honestly, I still feel lonely now. I've been in India for almost a full year and there are still days and weeks that I feel isolated and lonely. I'm still away from all my family and friends in Australia. So no. It is normal to feel lonely. It is normal to feel isolated. And you are going to. There are times that you are going to. So know that and prepare for that and appreciate that and allow yourself to actually feel that, because it is normal. You're not different from anybody else. You're not weak. You're not overly emotional. You are a normal human being that craves being part of a community. This is normal human behavior. So that's the first thing I want you to know and to really process, that if you're feeling lonely right now, or if you're worried about feeling lonely, that's okay. That is completely okay and is completely normal. And the key here is just to be gentle on yourself. Appreciate that you're probably going to feel lonely and isolated at times, and allow that. Be gentle on yourself. Don't be so harsh on yourself to always need to be feeling good. You don't need to be feeling good all the time. For me, accepting that it was actually normal to feel lonely, especially when I've made such a drastic change in my life and I've left home, was a big changing point for me, which feeds into point number 2, which really changed everything for me. And that is learning to enjoy it. I think we're living in a world right now where we're hyper connected all the time. We've got Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, and you can chat to people and WhatsApp, and we are literally connected 24/7 all the time with anyone, anywhere. It's absolutely insane. So we are used to being connected all the time. We're not used to feeling lonely anymore. And so that is one of the big challenges and the big hurdles when you actually move to a new country and you are starting to feel lonely. But what I want you to do, as we said in step 1, is to appreciate that it's normal. And then step 2 here is to learn to enjoy it. Now, typically when I've been feeling lonely, and it might be the same for you, is when I'm bored. I'm home alone. I don't have any work to do. I don't have anyone to see. And so I'm kind of feeling lonely in that moment. You know, I don't have anything to do and I have that spare time. I'm bored. So instead of grabbing your phone and death scrolling for hours to avoid the boredom and to avoid the feeling of loneliness, what I want you to do is acknowledge that you're feeling isolated or lonely or bored. And then I want you to do something that you actually enjoy doing. Something practical that I did when I first moved to India was wrote a list of all the things that I would enjoy doing if I felt lonely or bored, or if I had some free time that kept me off my phone. Now on the screen right now, you can see a list, and you can see the list kind of goes off the page, which is an indication that the list is huge. If you actually sit down for 5 minutes and write a list of all the things you could do if you're feeling bored or lonely or isolated, the list is massive. The list is so long. There's so many things that you could pick up and do in those moments. Some of the big ones for me have been exercise, meditation, journaling, reading. There's so many things you can do when you're feeling bored, when you're feeling lonely, when you're feeling isolated, that are actually productive and healthy and good for you. And of course, sometimes you're gonna jump on your phone and death scroll and go through Instagram for a while, and that's okay too. But just know there are so many more things you can be doing with your time, even when you're lonely, that are actually super fun, super productive, and great for your mental and physical health. So next time you're feeling bored or lonely, I want you to pick something that you enjoy doing and just start to do it. Put your phone away, that's the key. put your phone away as much as you can. That doesn't solve your problem of learning to enjoy having alone time. That just distracts you from the pain of loneliness. What I want you to do is start practicing activities that you actually enjoy doing when you're alone. This is going to solve so much of the pain that you associate with that feeling of loneliness and isolation. And I guarantee, once you start implementing some activities that you actually enjoy doing while you're on your own, you are going to kind of look forward being lonely. You're actually going to enjoy the time when you're on your own. And this is a big mental shift and something that I'm starting to see play out in my life now, that I actually enjoy being home alone because there's so many things that I get to do, that I love to do when I'm on my own now. And I've practiced actually remembering to do them when I'm alone as opposed to just death scrolling. So make a list of all the things you can do and you would love to do when you're alone, when you're feeling lonely. And in this way, you will absolutely learn to enjoy alone time. Now, of course, you don't want to just sit at home alone all the time, all day, every day. While it's healthy to actually start to enjoy alone time, as human beings, we are social creatures. And so it is important at some stage to start building your social circle. Now for this, you're going to have to put yourself out there a little bit. It might be a little bit uncomfortable at first, especially if you're a bit of an introvert, and you might need to get a little bit vulnerable. But put yourself out there at uni, at work, social events, run clubs, exercise groups for different hobbies that you have. There are so many places to meet people, especially if you're a uni student where there's literally clubs for everything and for everyone. And so if you are a uni student, I highly recommend you get heavily involved at different uni events. And if you're not a uni student, you can still get involved at different work events, corporate events, networking events, and there are even communities out there just to meet other people in the city that you're from. So search for those, reach out to those groups and join those events and participate in those events. I guarantee you will meet people and you will build out your social circle. But the one note with this, and something that I fell victim to when I first moved to India, was that I was connecting with people, but that I was putting a lot of effort and energy into connecting with people just for the sake of making friends, even though we didn't have a true connection. And so when you start to build out your social circle, I want you to be careful that you're not making friends just because you feel so lonely and isolated that you're desperate to make friends. And the key is, don't use the loneliness as an excuse to keep low quality people around you and in your life. If you don't resonate with people, if you don't share the same core values of people that you're connecting with, you don't need to keep them around as close friends just because right now you might be lonely and don't have other friends. Don't use your loneliness as an excuse to keep people close to you. Even if you're feeling lonely and isolated, I still want you to be selective about who you actually let close into your life. It's fine to have acquaintances and people that you just see out at different events and you speak to them, and that's okay. There's a place for those people in your life. But to allow people to get close to you and close into your social circle, I want you to be selective about those people, even if you're feeling lonely. And this could be difficult because when you're feeling lonely and isolated, you feel a little bit more desperate to get people close to you and to have good friends. But I want you to be careful about this. Be careful about who you're letting close into your life, and make sure the good quality people that you resonate with, that you share your core values with. And make sure with those individuals, you're able to be your authentic self. That's typically an indicator if you actually connect with those people and you vibe with them and they're a good fit for you. It's like, can I feel like I can be authentic with these people, or am I pretending to be something that I'm not just to try and fit in and make friends? So make sure you're staying authentic. It's going to be so much easier and so much less of an energy drainer if you can be authentic with the people around you and make genuine friendships and connections. And honestly, all you need is one or two really close friends that you really connect with, and other people can kind of be acquaintances just to, see when you go out. And this is going to fill a lot of the voids in your life in terms of missing family and friends from home. This has been the exact case for me. I have about 2 really close friends here in India, and other people are good friends and acquaintances as well, which is great. So I have a great time when I go out and see different people. But I have 2 really close friends that really, truly fill the voids of friends and family that I miss from home. And so don't feel like you need to have an army of friends and this huge network. It's like you don't need to have that. to satisfy what you need as a human being. And so those are the 4 keys that I've learned to manage my loneliness and to actually enjoy being alone, to accept those feelings, but then also to make friends, build out my social circle, and have a few people that I really trust and connect with on a deep level. And hopefully these 4 keys allow you to enjoy living in Australia more and more every day. So if this video helped you out, even just a little bit, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. And I will see you in the very next video.